Right, oopsie. Morning and welcome back to my channel. I'm on a hike right now and I'm really unfit. It takes about 30 minutes to get to the top. But yeah, this is one of the things I do to clear my mind, to get more creative. And I think everyone can probably learn from that. A lot of times we're stuck in a particular environment, especially being from inner cities and stuff. And it definitely dumbs down your productivity. It keeps you caged in a particular mindset. So travel, exercise, get out of your city, get out of your area, take walks, go to the gym, go on a hike, go and do some touristy stuff in central London if you have to. And lastly, how can I forget? Smash out the like button, comment, like, oh, I said that already, subscribe. Anyways, today I'm going to talk about the difficulty of being a 20-year-old or being in your 20s, should I say. So I'm having a twist of this. Everyone has always done things to leave behind in 2019. Today, I'm going to do things to avoid in your 20s. Yeah? Stay tuned. It's not just going to be finance. Obviously, I love talking finances, but I'm going to cover other things as well. Stay tuned. Right, going to hit you with the first point midway through my hike. It's an amazing view, isn't it? First point being keeping the wrong company. That could totally derail you. I know a few of my mates that I had to cut off. I was lucky because I got ahead of that very early. And I was able to keep the right people around me. But keeping the wrong company, a few of my mates, I had to cut out when I was 17, 18. Some of them ended up in jail. I'm not saying that that is, you know, a life-changing situation, because you could still come around from it. Some of them went into a mental institutions and, you know, got sectioned for different reasons, you know. And I can't stress it enough. Keeping the wrong company could literally take you from what your trajectory is in life to, you know, what it's not meant to be. You know, sometimes I always say people are in your life for a moment, and you need to be intelligent and smart enough to recognize when people are in your life for a moment. It's okay to move on. It's okay to grow up. It's okay not to always be friends with someone, you know, and it's okay not to do what everyone's doing, which leads me to my second point. Not taking a risk when you're in your 20s. You're in your prime years. You're in the years where, you know, you could afford to lose 2 years and still be on the ball. You could afford to lose 3 years and not really have a huge amount of responsibility that awaits you, you know. These are the years that you kind of like put it all on the line and just literally go for it. And I put certain things into perspective, you know. I use Michael Dapper, for example. He took a huge risk doing that fire in the booth, because we know the cancelled culture in the UK. If that fire in the booth never worked out for him, you know, it would have been a lot of laughter directed at him, and not laughter in the sense of him being funny. It would have just been like, what the fuck are you doing, sort of stuff, you know. So, but he took the risk. He probably had 2 minds before he filmed that, but he went ahead and he just got it done and put it out there, and now look at where he is, you know. So you need to take risk. You need to not move in the same direction as everyone else. You need to find your own trajectory and just stay on it. I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't take the risk now, when are you going to take it? I'm not saying that when you're in your 30s and when you're in your 40s and 50s that life is over, but are you then going to take it when you've got, you know, a few 3-year-olds running around you asking, Daddy, where's the milk at? You know, so now is the time to take the risk. And for those of you that already have kids, it's still the time to take a risk. Because I always say your 20s are probably your most creative years. Because, like, you know, you're young, you're fresh, haven't been totally brainwashed and influenced by your surroundings and stuff. It's when you're at your purest form, so just take advantage of it. Right, it's raining. Well, it's not raining. It's probably going to start raining soon, but I'm still here because I really want to bring this vlog out to you guys. Which brings me on to my third point, I believe, which is extravagant lifestyles. When you're in your 20s, it's not the time for extravagant lifestyles. What I will say, practice deferred gratification. That car you want, put it up for another 5 years. Forget the clothes, man. And I do feel sorry for people that only feel like a fuller version of themselves when they've got all these material possessions. It might be the watches, it might be this, it might be that. Unless your purchases are calculated, put that on the shelf. I mean, now I'm hearing you could even buy trainers and, you know, clothes on Klarna and, you know, buy now and pay later. Like, how dare you take out a credit to buy something that holds no monetary value? Like, literally. Or what, you're going to go and sell it on Depop for 90% less than what you bought it for? That's not an investment, is it? You know, so what I will say, whilst you've got the opportunity, you don't have a huge responsibility, you're not paying rent, you're probably living at home free. Take that money, put it in a savings. Let me put it into perspective, right? If you put away 5 grand every year from when you're 20 up until 30 at an interest level, annual interest level of 7%, you're looking at upwards of 80 plus grand by the time you're 30. And now think about it. How many times do you waste £5,000 in a year? Just think about it. How many times you waste that £5,000 in a year? And now we talk about the unsustainable culture of these designer clothes, and I do feel sorry for those that are really coming up now, like the early 20s, because it's unsustainable. You can't possibly sustain it. You know, an average cost of, you know, designer trainers or a designer jacket or a jeans is upwards of £1,000. So how many are you going to buy before it's sufficient for your wardrobe? It's not sustainable. Even if you're on a 3 grand a month salary, it is not sustainable, you know? So practice deferred gratification. Forget all the instant gratification now. Cry now, laugh later. Of course I am preaching it now. I have made my errors. If you go back on YouTube, you'll probably find videos of me doing stupidness, you know, entertaining the crowd in the club, buying champagne bottles after champagne bottles. And I look back now and I'm like, yeah, I have investments, but imagine where I would be if I was smarter with my money when I was in my early 20s. I was smart, but imagine if I was smarter with my money. And it is sad to see, man. It is sad to see us waste our early years on the instant gratification, on fitting into what the stereotype is, on fitting into what Instagram says is cool, and so on and so forth. And I think, you know, if you change it around early enough, you could definitely be a millionaire in your 30s, man, 100%. Brings me on to my 4th point. What you should leave in your 20s, what you should leave in 2019, and that being procrastination. Procrastination is the killer of dreams. Procrastination comes as a result of self-doubt, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, demotivation, and also a poor routine. So what's your morning routine like? How do you start your day? How do you structure your day? These are part of the things you need to understand, the makeup of your mind. You know, where do you work best at? Do you work best at home? Do you work best in an office environment? Do you work best outdoors? Where do you work? You need to create an environment that attracts success, right? So this is a few things that I use. Get some quotes up on your wall. When you wake up, that's what you should be looking at. Get some quotes up on your wall. Read every morning. Open your brain. The first thing you do when you wake up shouldn't be to take your phone, unlock the screen and go on social media. The first thing you do should be reach under your pillow, pull out your book and read a few pages. Get some quotes up on the wall. Tell your trusted friends what your ambitions are. Tell your trusted friends what direction you're headed in, because then they could hold you accountable as well. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine called Thierry, probably watching this video, he told me he wanted to start an online business in 2 weeks, and he had a few of the things all wrapped up. And after 2 weeks, I hit him up saying, what's the update on that? Because I haven't seen anything pop up. And that's me challenging him, because he shared his ambitions with me. So put it out there in the universe. Tweet it if you have to. People might think, oh, is he talking to himself? Well, put it out there, because eventually you talk greatness into your life. Right. I hope you're still with me and I hope you're still following. I hope you're enjoying the vlog. I love the outdoors, man, honestly. I love outdoors, I love views. That's what really works for me. That's what opens up my mind. Brings me on to my 5th point, being social media. I want you all to do a task, right? It's going to take a few seconds. We've all got smartphones, right? I want you to go into your settings, have a look on your social media and work out how many hours you spend on social media apps, that being Facebook, that being Snapchat, that being Twitter, and so on and so forth, with the exception of those that use it to run a business, right? I want you to do that and then come back to me and tell me why is it that when I do talk to people, or when people do talk to me, they always complain about there's not enough hours in a day. Oh, I work a 9 to 5. Oh, I can't fit this in. I can't fit that in. I need more hours. How can I be more productive? The answer is there. Your social media. You're spending your prime years. You're spending your prime years chasing after social media, following a culture that is based on a whole facade. You're using your prime years and damaging your health, damaging your mental health, creating self-doubt as a result of what you see on social media, as a result of what your perception is of what other people are doing. You're using your prime years, just wasting it, you know, just wasting it. Those years will never come back to you. That video, that snap, that twerk video you watched would never benefit you, never ever benefit you, you know? So if you think you're struggling for time, perhaps you should start with cutting down what you do on social media, how long you spend on social media, how many hours you put in on social media. If you put in anywhere near that in all your other endeavors, I promise you 2020 will be a great year. Point number 6 are things to chuck away in 2020, things to not be associated with in your 20s, right? Every successful person practice this. Every top CEO practice this. Every top investor practice this. But for some reason we think we could do without it. That is having a coach, or what some people might call a mentor. You need to have this. Listen, to learn is to grow. To be guided is to achieve. You study all the real successful people that's come before us. Even down to, you know, the second richest man in the world, Warren Buffett. He's had mentors, several of them. If you think you could get to the next stage in your life without having a mentor, it's either going to be extremely tough or near enough impossible. There is a method to the magic, you know, it's not a fluke. Being successful is not a fluke, you know. So me, myself, I have a mentor, you know. People have me as their mentors. And that's the only way you could move forward and navigate this thing called life. Brings me on to point number 7. Being small-minded and being complacent. Oh, look at the views down there. Like, there's a pond down there, and like, from up here you could see like several different, like, you could see miles and miles and miles further down or further out. But anyways, being small-minded and being complacent. No small-minded person ever made it big. And you need to think beyond your current situation. If you're cash strapped at the moment, think beyond that. If you're in a dead-end job, think beyond that. Don't let that define you. Don't let that define your mindset. Don't let that define your ambition. Broaden your horizon, man. Honestly, broaden your horizon. Think big. What's that saying? If you aim high enough, you fall into the skies, or something along those lines, you know? And it's literally that, you know? Think big. And stop being held back by your job. Stop thinking, oh, what am I going to do without having an employment? You know, be strategic. You've got an employment. You've got an employment, but you have an ambition of what you want to do. I tell you what you do. Save all your pennies for 6 months and leave the job. You're in your 20s. You could afford to leave the job. If you get it wrong, you could go back and get another job. Leave the job. Save your money. Have enough money to put you through to the next 6 months and put your plan into action, man. Think big. Stop being small-minded. Point number 8. Things to avoid in your 20s. Things to leave behind in 2019. And things to chuck away and never look back. Not training your mind and body, but very important, not training your mind and not protecting your mental health. When you're in your 20s, you need to understand what works for you, what works for your mental health. If it's not good for you, cut it out. Honestly, cut it out. If it's not good for you, cut it out. If it's a place that you go to, if it's someone that you're seeing, if it's a business that you're doing. Actually, I just sold a business. I sold one of my businesses. And the core reason why I sold it was I noticed it really started to fuck with my mind. I think I just had something go in my eye. It really started to fuck with my mind, and it really started to put me in an unhappy place. And this business that I sold was turning over £5,000 to £7,000 every single month. But I sold it, you know, because I am more concerned with protecting my mental health than making some pounds. You know, if this gets damaged, this is no more. So for me, this is the most important thing. More important than every cash I've got. More important than every investment I got. Because I can lose it all and make it back as long as this is fully intact. So train your mind. Start reading books. Start reading books that helps you train your mind. There's a book vlog I'm going to do in future. Probably going to be out next week, Sunday. You should be receiving this vlog today. So the book vlog is probably going to be out next Sunday. I'm going to give you books that can help shape your mind. Help shape your perception of life. Help shape your mental health. And all in all, just help make you a better person. So yeah, thank you if you have stayed on right up until now, and thank you even more to those that have subscribed. Honestly, I've got some amazing content planned for this channel. I will at some point be bringing on guests, people that run their own businesses, people that work what we call a well-paid job, to pick the brains. How did you get there? And, you know, have a sit down with them, because I think that's what we need in our 20s. We need encouragement. We need motivation. We need direction. We need examples. And I'll try and use this channel to project that out there. So thank you once again. I look forward to catching up with you lot next week. Subscribe, like, comment, hit me up. If you want to collaborate creatively, then hit me up. And till next time.